everyone.
Today, we're jumping into something really, really key if you've ever thought about, buying or selling a business.
It's about understanding what actually gives a business real value in the market.
Exactly. Versus what we think makes it valuable. And how to avoid some pretty common and honestly expensive mistakes.
Yeah, it's easy to get attached to what you've built, but the market, well, it often sees things differently.
That's the crux of it.
Welcome to your marketing department, where we share the best tips for marketing your small business. And the full link to this topic is down in the description. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss our latest update.
And for this deep dive, we're drawing on some great insights, specifically from Vicky Wu, the CEO of Unscrewed Marketing.
Right. She's got a ton of experience marketing, business strategy, even M&A work.
Yeah, serious background. And we're also looking closely at an article from Unscrewed Marketing called What Every Entrepreneur Needs to Know Before Buying or Selling a Business.
And that article kicks off with a story. It's quite something. Really highlights the disconnect we're talking about.
Oh, it's a bit of a jaw dropper, yeah. It perfectly sets up why knowing this stuff is so crucial for you, whether you're building, buying, or selling.
Definitely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the article starts with this anecdote. There's a woman in a business group, and she posts about selling her online business.
Right. And what jumps out, as the article details, is how she lists the assets. She's upfront, says things like, no clients yet.
Okay.
But then she says what she does have is the branding I did and documented processes.
No clients, branding she did herself, documented processes. And she's asking.
6 figures.
6 figures. For a business with zero revenue.
Yeah, that's what Vicky Wu calls the coffee choke moment in the article. You've got something that hasn't made money in, at least a year. Website traffic is basically zero by her own account. And the main selling points are branding that, sounded like a homemade Canva job.
Right.
And systems that were probably, templates she bought or found.
But her belief, her genuine belief, was that someone would pay big money for that, for the effort she put into the branding and systems.
And this is where you see the clash. Vicky Wu, with her MBA, decades in high-level business, M&A, she sees it very differently.
How does she put it?
She basically calls it a Canva logo and a purchased SOP bundle, not a business. The article is blunt. This isn't a franchise. It's a Canva file and a dream.
Ouch. But it really makes the point.
It absolutely does. And it leads straight into the core principle. Buyers don't pay for your dream. They pay for your data.
Data, not dreams. I like that. It's so clear. So it really just boils down to proof, tangible results.
Exactly. Real valuation, according to Unscrewed Marketing, comes from proof of performance. They have this super simple rule.
Yeah.
No revenue, no valuation, full stop.
Okay. Wow. So if it's not making money, it's basically worthless in a sale.
Yeah.
Are there exceptions?
Well, yeah, the article mentions exceptions, but they're pretty significant, like truly proprietary asset.
What does that mean exactly?
Think like a patent. Or maybe a really unique, defensible tech stack nobody else has. Or maybe a huge email list that's packed with people who've actually bought from you before.
Got it. Real hard assets.
Right. But if you don't have revenue and you don't have those kinds of proven, defensible things, the source says you're not selling a business, you've just got an expensive hobby.
So buyers aren't interested in potential or your passion. They want what's already working.
That's the critical takeaway. Buyers look at proof. Not maybe, could be potential. Because, as the article points out, buying potential often just means buying a vague hope and a whole lot of risk.
Okay, let's go back to that first seller. Her focus was systems built out and branding. How does the data-driven buyer see those?
Well, from the Unscrewed Marketing angle, systems are only valuable if they're actually, doing something, driving sales, making things run smoother now.
Not just theoretical.
Exactly. Systems that aren't getting results. The article calls selling a fancy Notion template with no results behind it. They need to contribute to easy operations and actual profit, you can see.
Right. And branding.
Yeah.
People put so much into logos and colors. Is that just fluff?
It can be incredibly valuable, but only if it's become a real brand.
Meaning
People recognize it, you have an audience that knows you, and crucially, that audience converts. They buy things.
Yeah.
The article's pretty direct here. If nobody knows you, you have no audience, zero sales, then you're branding that script font and a Pinterest color palette. Look, as they put it, isn't a six-figure asset.
How much is it worth then?
They say it's barely worth $6 if there's no business results behind it.
Okay, wow. And the seller compared it to a franchise you mentioned.
Yeah, the franchise thing. The article jumps on that. Franchises do sell a model, sure, but they come with stuff this kind of setup totally lacks.
Like what?
Like national advertising, ongoing support, huge brand recognition already built in. And the big one, a tested model that's already profitable and feeding you customers.
Totally different league.
Completely. The article's take. Selling that unproven setup isn't selling a franchise. It's selling a starter kit and call it a business.
Okay, so if it's not about branding you did yourself or systems that aren't proven, let's flip it. What do serious buyers look for? What's on their checklist?
The Unscrewed Marketing article lays it out pretty clearly. Number 1, profit.
Actual profit, not just potential.
Exactly. Real demonstrable profit that's happening now.
Makes sense. What else?
They want real traffic. Website visits, foot traffic, whatever fits, but traffic that actually converts. And they want the data, the proof that it converts.
Okay. Proof again.
Mm-hmm. They also want operational ease. A business that runs smoothly isn't a total nightmare to manage.
Right.
And this is key. A documented process that works and can be handed off without the new owner having to figure it all out again. It implies the systems are already effective.
And customers. An audience.
Absolutely critical. A loyal customer base. A real engaged audience. That's huge value.
So the summary is?
If you don't have those things, the profit, the converting traffic, the smooth operations, the working, documented processes, the audience, the article says you're not really selling a business. You're selling an idea, maybe with some nice wrapping paper.
Gotcha.
And the article also digs into these common business seller delusions, things sellers believe that apparently sink deals all the time.
Oh, I bet. Like what are the big ones?
Okay, one is they're getting a turnkey operation.
Right, I've heard that term.
But the source clarifies. True turnkey means it's already running, already making money, already working the moment the buyer gets the keys.
Not just ready to run if they build it up.
Exactly. It's not, it could run if, it is running. Another one. I invested so much time and money in this branding.
We kind of covered that, right?
Yeah. Branding is usually a cost, not an asset that adds value unless it's clearly driving revenue and recognized conversions. The buyer doesn't care about your design costs if it didn't translate to dollars.
Okay. What else?
The classic. The market is definitely there. They just need to market it better.
The if-only argument.
Right. And the article's counter is pretty sharp. Look, if you, the seller, couldn't market it well enough to get results, why should a buyer pay you for the chance to try doing what you failed at?
Puts the responsibility back on the seller to prove it works.
Absolutely. And this whole discussion leads the Unscrewed Marketing article into this phenomenon they've noticed. They call it a marketing MLM, which is a bit pointed.
A marketing MLM. What do they mean by that?
They're talking about a pattern where some people who position themselves as digital marketers end up mostly selling, like, business templates or frameworks.
Instead of actual marketing services. Or building their own successful businesses.
Kind of, yeah. The pattern they describe is slap together a website, maybe a logo, pull some SOPs from a course or bundle, try to get clients, doesn't really work. And then they package this minimal setup and try to sell it, often for like 5 figures or more.
Who buys that?
Often beginners, apparently. People eager to own a business, but maybe unsure how to start from zero.
Okay, and what are the problems the article raises with this model, besides the obvious lack of results?
Well, several things. First, it's framed less like building long-term value and more like a quick flip of something largely theoretical.
Right.
Second, unlike a real franchise, there's no territory protection. The seller could literally become the buyer's competitor immediately.
Oh, wow.
And a big one. The seller might just take the same framework, slap a new name on it, and sell it again, directly competing with the person they just sold the business to.
Yikes. Okay, so given all these delusions and potential traps, what are the red flags, the warning signs buyers should look for, or even sellers evaluating their own setup?
Good question. The article lists quite a few. A big one is that phrase, no revenue yet, especially if there's zero proof of traffic or real demand to suggest revenue is actually coming.
Hope isn't a strategy.
Pretty much. Another flag, listing the logo and color scheme as major selling points. We know now that's not where the value is.
Right.
Also, claiming systems are built out, but having absolutely no metrics, no data to show how those systems actually perform.
What kind of metrics should be there?
The source gives examples like customer acquisition cost CAC, or lifetime value LTV, churn rate, numbers that prove the systems work efficiently and the customers are valuable. Without that data, the systems aren't proven assets.
Okay. What about the audience side?
Yeah, a big red flag is no social proof.
Right.
Like no testimonials, no case studies, or no real email list, or just dead silence on social media platforms. It's just no real connection or demand.
Mm-hmm.
And watch out for things marketed as passive income ready when there are literally zero buyers proving it generates any income, passive or otherwise.
Makes sense. And what did the article say was the biggest red flag?
The source says the absolute biggest one, and this might be hidden or not admitted, is if the seller's main business seems to be teaching other people how to build and flip these kinds of minimal businesses, but they themselves haven't actually built and scaled a truly substantial, profitable business over time. It makes you question if they really understand what creates lasting value.
Okay, this has been super insightful about the pitfalls. Let's shift gears to be positive. If you do want to build something with real value, something sellable, what should you focus on according to the source?
Right. The article gives clear direction here. It starts, no surprise, with a clear, profitable business model that you've actually proven works.
Profit again. Got it. Loud and clear.
Yep. And beyond just profit, focus on reliable income. That means either steady monthly recurring revenue or maybe a really high converting sales funnel that consistently brings money in. Predictability matters.
Okay, and the audience?
Build a real audience. A specific niche audience that knows you, likes you, and this is key, actually buys from you, maybe repeatedly. That shows real demand, real loyalty, and build real assets, not just the fluffy stuff.
Real assets.
Like a genuinely valuable customer list, consistent quality traffic coming in, a strong reputation in your market. These are tangible things that directly point to future value.
And systems.
Yes, have systems someone else can run, but critically, systems that are already proven to work and are contributing to the profit, the traffic, getting customers, all of that.
So it all ties together.
Exactly. It boils down to this core message from Unscrewed Marketing. A business isn't valuable just because you poured hours and passion into it.
It's not about how much you love your Canva logo.
Right. It's valuable because of the income it reliably generates, or because it has real proven assets that show clear data-backed potential for a buyer to scale it further.
That really clarifies things.
Yeah.
Forces you to look past the shiny bits and focus on results.
Yeah. Absolutely. It shifts the whole perspective from effort to outcome, from perceived value to proven value.
Okay, so that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Really chew on. Based on everything we've dug into today, when you look at any business, maybe it's yours, maybe it's one you're thinking of buying, or are you getting caught up in the surface stuff, the effort, the branding dreams, the theoretical systems?
Or are you looking deeper? Are you rigorously searching for that tangible proof?
Yeah.
The hard data, the verifiable profit, the real working assets that the market actually values and, frankly, will pay for.
It's a crucial question.
It really is. It can save a lot of time, money, and, heartache. If you need help getting that kind of objective clarity, either on your own business or evaluating one to buy, there are services out there. Things like a 360-degree marketing assessment or getting a fractional CMO involved. They exist to provide that data-driven perspective.
Yeah, definitely sounds useful. So the big takeaway from this deep dive, focus on proven results, real assets, and the data that backs it all up. That's how you build real value.
Couldn't have said it better. Don't let the dream obscure the data.
Great advice. Really think about what true business value means after this discussion. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Until next time.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Did you know that most businesses stumble not from lack of effort, but from misguided marketing? My new book, Pivot to Success, Transforming Marketing Missteps into Milestones, is your comprehensive guide out of this common trap. Drawing from a treasure trove of real-world examples and case studies, I'll show you how to navigate the marketing maze and turn potential pitfalls into powerful milestones. You can find the book on my website, or you can go directly to Amazon and search for Pivot to Success, Transforming Marketing Missteps into Milestones. Grab your copy today because it's designed to help you recover from bad advice.